Some places don't have to be famous, they just draw you in naturally. Kollenburg Castle Ruins is one of these places ripe for exploration. I came here knowing almost nothing, with no script and no expectations, just curiosity and a camera. So today we're stepping away from our usual format and exploring this hidden ruin the same way you would, discovering it one step and one turn at a time. Let's see what we find together. Welcome to Kollenburg.
Welcome back to the channel, explorers. Today we have something special. Usually on my channel you'll see me exploring things, but I've done a lot of research beforehand, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm talking about when we go to these locations. It's still exploration, just with a little bit of facts, because as we know, when we're traveling and we're doing tourism and things like this, it is good to kind of know what we're looking at instead of just taking our pictures and moving on. But today, I don't have really that knowledge, because I only came here to film for my other channel, the Aerial Folklore channel, which is all about folklore and legends and using drone footage. I just came up here to do that. But as I was walking through the town is actually quite beautiful. I was not expecting that because I didn't see any pictures about it. When I got to the castle, it was far better than I saw online. It was just incredible. And I said, okay, we need to do a real episode. We're going to be doing it backwards today. We're not going to end in the castle. We're going to start in the castle. The viewpoints here, you know what? I'm going to stop talking. Let's just start looking around. Let's start exploring. And let's learn a little bit about this castle. You're going to see me on my phone periodically, because I'm looking up information myself. So let's get started. All right, as I said, I don't know much about this castle right now, but I did pull out my phone because there's a thing called Google. And what Google taught me was that this castle was built in the 13th century, and it passed on to another family in the 14th century, and in the 18th century it fell into disrepair, and that's why you see it as it is now. But I have to be honest, the Burg Ruine, or the castle ruins, are a lot more fun to explore, in my opinion, especially like this. I'm the only one here. I am the only one here right now. That's why I couldn't pass up this opportunity to film here. But I know that's not scratching your itch to know more about this castle, so if we're really going to answer that question, that burning question that most of us travelers have, what is that and where are we? For that, let's jump over to the history.
The castle above Kollenburg enters the written record in the early 14th century when a castrum here is clearly mentioned. But the hill itself had already been a fortified residence for generations. In 1214, the nearby village of Feckenbach appears in documents for the first time, the earliest date tied to the settlement around the castle's domain. In the Middle Ages, the castle passed between several regional families. By the 14th century, it was in the hands of the Kollenberg line, and later the famous Teutonic Order, and then again passed down to the Archbishop of Mainz. For centuries, the castle dominated this stretch of the Main Valley, overseeing trade, taxation, and movement along the river. But by the 18th century, its strategic importance had faded. A hunter lived in part of the castle for a time, but then it slowly fell into ruin. In 1842, the property was sold to a Frankfurt baron, and from then on, nature reclaimed more and more of the structure. And that brings us back to today's exploration.
And the crazy thing about this is, there's like 20,000, conservatively 20,000 castles in Germany. Now, some of them are just the foundations or are still buried because there's a lot of archaeological digs going on, especially in the Spessart, which, if you didn't know, that's where I am right now. I'm in the Spessart Forest in Bavaria, on the other side of the river. That is a different state. But there are 20,000 castles here, conservatively. Now, I've heard upwards of 30,000. I'm going to stick with the 20,000. Maybe there are more. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comments. But yeah, that's still a lot. So there is a lot to explore. And it's not just castles, the villages. Like I said, we're going to go down to the village a little bit later. But this is incredible. Now that we know a little bit about the history, this is really incredible. And when I first came, this gate, I thought it was locked. I said, oh no, we're going to have nothing but drone footage today, which is not a bad thing. But now we got boots on the ground. So let's take a look at this outside. I can open the gate. There we go. So even the nature is beautiful. Like I said, we're in the middle of the Spessart, and the reason I came here, like I said, was because I was filming something for the Aerial Folklore channel. Again, check that out if you don't know what that is. Its link is in the description. But The Spessart is full of folklore, legends, and things like that, so my other channel, I primarily focus on that, using the drone footage. But here, that's why I came here. But I did not expect to see this. So yeah. So let's just keep going through. I'll reenact it. Yeah. I can open the door. Gotta be smarter than the door. So yeah, they obviously use this for events. And I'm guessing, I could be wrong, maybe there's a Christmas market here. Some castles in Germany, there are Christmas markets in the castle. Basically everybody's fairy tale dream as a kid. I'm sure there's probably a lot of people, so. It's wild. So yeah, if you're new to the channel, what I like to do, let's take a look at that first. So if you are new to the channel, what I tend to do is I like to go explore places. More often than not, it's lesser known places, but occasionally we go to like a Heidelberg or we do something, eventually we're gonna get to Neuschwanstein Castle. Everybody loves that place. So we will get there, but I like to find these little places too, because look, again, I've been here for nearly 2 hours. Nobody is here. But on my channel, what I like to do is explore these places. And oftentimes when we travel, we take pictures and we're like, man, it would be nice to know what it is I'm looking at. Unless you hire a tour guide, sometimes you can't really find that out. And that's what we're here to do, is to answer the question, what is that? But you got to see this. This is crazy. I can't go in here, but I want to. That's incredible. I wish we can go in there, but they obviously have it blocked off for a reason. Looks like they might be reinforcing or doing some restoration or something in here. If you're from the area, let me know what they're doing in there. Again, another thing for the comments, but just let us know. If you're from the area or you know about this castle, it would be interesting to know what's going on. So let's get up to the top level. Oh God, I can hear my mom saying already, "You didn't close the door. What, do you live in a barn? You live in a barn?" No, Mom, I don't live in a barn. See, I close the door, even to the castle. All right, let's see what's up here. Well, I already know what's up here, spoiler alert. I was flying the drone off here earlier. Look at that view though, before we even get up here. I'm glad the low-level clouds and the fog didn't burn off yet. Just incredible views today. And actually in the distance, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a wind turbine at the top of the mountain. Now look, I'm from southern Wisconsin. It's pretty flat there. These are mountains to me. I know somebody in the comments will, these aren't mountains. They're mountains to me. So, you know what? If you're from the Alps or somewhere cool like that, good on you. But I'm not, so these are mountains. And there's a wind turbine. Let's see if we can get a picture up. See if we can catch that real quick. There he is. So yeah, there's a wind turbine up there, and it's peeking through the clouds. Again, this is why I'm glad I came here today. There's a little bit of complications with the bus. It's a holiday in Bayern, or in Bavaria. And, the buses aren't running regularly. And yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's the money shot right here. And this is really one of the parts of the country that I really like of Germany. It's, most people, they'll go to Munich, they'll go to Berlin, they'll go to the Alps, of course. Why wouldn't they? Schwarzwald or the Black Forest. Or sometimes, sometimes they'll go up to the north as well, up near Hamburg. And then, of course, Heidelberg. But there's just all of these gems. This is the Main River. Eventually, if you go further west, it connects up with the Rhine, which is, a lot of you might know the Rhine, because the Middle Rhine is quite a famous area. It's a UNESCO heritage site. But this one right here, you have all these, the Taube, the Main. My brain is freezing, but you have a lot of these rivers, and I swear, if you just follow them, you're going to hit little gems like this all along these rivers. And obviously, historically, that's because it was a transportation source for them. So, and water source. Look at this. Just unbelievable. Wow. I'll do a little Owen Wilson today. Wow. Here we go. All right, well, so I have a little bit of an issue here. I'm 191 centimeters or 6'3". And, oh, you might have heard my knee pop there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We're gonna go back there. Just give me a second to warm myself up. Got a little dungeon or something there. I'm not even sure what this is. Okay, let's try. Please ignore the grunting. I'm a big guy. We're coming through here. Oh, there's like been dogs back here though. All right. Oh, wow. You're probably going to see, yeah, there's probably need a counter of how many times I say, oh, wow, in this video. I don't know how to get down there. I think what you have to do is go where it was blocked off. And obviously it's blocked off for a reason, so we're not going to go back there or down there. But that would be pretty cool. And then it's the end here. And now I have to go back through that tiny tunnel. So I will spare you the sounds. I really want to find out what's down there, though. Really spooky. If this was nighttime, and like, I mean, it was just Halloween yesterday, so I'm filming this on the 1st of November. If this was nighttime and Halloween, it definitely hits all the spooky vibes. All right, I'm gonna cut the camera here because you don't need to hear me grunting twice. We're back through. We made it. I'm breathing heavy. That's all good though. It's good breathing heavy. I'd really like to know what events they have here. I suppose we could probably Google that, but. And then this is the view I had earlier. Again, here's where we were earlier as well, with the stairs. You could tell at some point there was probably a way to get up here. Long ago, you can see the tracks. And you can see like the leftover remnants of stairs here as well, and where they came out. So it's at one point in time, you can get up here. It's interesting. And the really, really fun fact is I just learned this the other day. So they built these uneven so that when people that were trying to invade or whatever, when they were trying to climb up here, they'd have to look at our feet or at their feet. And in doing so, they were pretty easy to stop in their tracks. So that's, if you're ever climbing up a tower in a medieval structure and you're like, wow, this seems really, really uneven. Well, that's why, or so I'm told. That's based on the research I did, that's what I'm told. Again, if I'm wrong, by all means correct that, but I believe that's what I researched. Go back over. Oh, I didn't even see this. All right, it's really, really slippery today. I don't know, but what's exploration without a little tiny bit of risk? Got some good hiking boots on today. Hiking in Germany, right? Everybody does it seems like, so I joined the party with the hiking. And this is how you end up finding a lot of these places. So, oh, here we go. And see, this is what I'm talking about. When you go down a path that looks a little sketchy, you find some pretty cool stuff. Now this is still closed off. Yeah. It looks like they're just doing some work on it. Hopefully you can see in there, because we were just up there in that little tunnel. And now we're back here. Dead end. Well, look, you got even little windows up here. I don't know if you noticed earlier when we were by the towers, there was these little slits. I'll see if I can find them when I go back up. They had little arrow slits where they would shoot the arrows at the people. Pretty violent times those days, huh? But here we go. I saw this. That's why I wanted to come down here. Oh, here. Perfect. This is exactly what I'm talking about with the arrows. So I can shoot out of them here and potentially not get shot back as easily. All right. Look at that. So as you take the train or the bus, today it was a bus because they're doing maintenance along this line. It's the AV or the EV bus. you really, really, really look out the window, put your phones down. I know I sound like an old man. Seriously, put your phones down. Just look out the window, because I remember when I was in my Sprachkurs, which is my German course, they were asking like, oh, how do you and your buddy find so many cool places? Honestly, I just click on Google Maps, look for castles and hiking, and then go from there. And also I look out the windows when I'm on the train, because yeah, I didn't find this one from that. I found this one on Google Maps, but a lot of times I find little places and I mark it down and then I come back to them. So you kind of are just coming with me on these little adventures that I would be doing anyway. So I hope you're enjoying this, because I'm having a fun time shooting this. And that's what it's all about, having fun. Ooh, dungeon. Oh man, that's deep. That's a well for sure. That's gotta be a well. Okay, so when I first came here, I thought it was going to be this, and I saw a picture of this. I thought this was it. This wall right here, and this guy. And that for me was worth coming up here, 100%. But then we found all this other cool stuff, and that's why we explore. But now I'm really curious, because when I go back down to the town, you know, as I said, I was hauling. When I was coming up here, I was like, whew, hauling up the mountain, or the hill. If you're gonna mock me for calling it a mountain, then okay, the hill. But I was hauling. I was going fast, because all of the fog and all the low-level clouds were out here, and I really wanted to catch that footage, which I did. Hopefully in a good fashion. I just got the drone, so bear with me as the flying gets better week to week. But I really wanted to catch that. And so all I did was like, oh, okay, that looks cool, that looks cool. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll have to remember to come back here. But along that way, because of that, I'm like, hey, we should just do an exploration video. Just see, like, let's just go explore stuff. So let's keep doing it. We're almost done with the castle, though. I think we've kind of maxed it out as far as places we can go. I need to reach out to the historical societies before I come to these places, because I'm very, very curious oftentimes they'll do imagery of what it would have looked like. And I bet you this thing was absolutely stunning. And I need to reach out to the historical societies before I come here in the future, because then we'd have all the information ahead of time. But this has been more fun anyway. So again, look at this. Gosh, goodness. All right, I'm gonna fly the drone for a little bit more. The wind's gonna pick up a little bit. It's supposed to rain later, but we're gonna make our way down here. The outside of this castle is also cool, so we're gonna hit that as we go down. Stick around though, because I want to show you again, this is like one of those places you even have to hit the button on the train, because there's one section of the train you have to take. You have to hit the button to even stop here, because it's not a regular stop. I don't even know how to explain that, but yeah. All right, so I'm gonna pack up. We're gonna go around the castle, right around here, down here. We're gonna go into the village and kind of explore it a little bit and see what's going on down there. All right, it's all packed up, time to go. Actually, like I said, I've been here for like 2.5, 3 hours, and yeah. Just now, finally, somebody else came. It was like this family on a little hiking trip up here with a little kid. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Again, you gotta remember, I'm coming from Wisconsin in the middle of the US. We definitely don't have these. We have some cool stuff. We got a lot of cheese, a lot of things like that, yeah. But definitely not castles. And this is, I'll be honest, I wasn't even a big history nerd until I moved here. And then it's just, I think being around this as opposed to reading it out of a book, it's just a night and day difference. And it's really easy to get sucked into it, especially in this region. Like I said, there's just a ton of legends, folklore, dating back all the way back to the Romans and the Celtics even. So we're talking 3,000 years old, or a little bit. Romans were not that far, but the Celtics were. And now, this is medieval, for the record. But yeah, you have a lot of medieval, and even some places. I want to tell you this, because this is very interesting. Some of the places, we don't have a lot of historical facts on the castle. This is not one of those. But some of the places, they're just digging them up. They don't really have much. as far as the history goes of the castle. But they have somehow legends and these types of things have traversed the time or whatever, and so somehow we have written down documented legends, which is what my other channel focuses on, documented legends and folklore. But we don't even have the history. Like I said, this is not one of those places. There is the history here, and there also is the folklore, because this is the Spessart, and the Brothers Grimm came from the kind of the area, and a lot of their stories and a lot of their tales that you see on Disney are actually from this region, although quite a bit different in a lot of cases than your Disney versions. We will get into that on this channel at some point when we go down the fairy tale route and go into the Brothers Grimm stuff a bit more, but you got to see this. Yeah, I'm not going to go back there. It's like all the prickly plants. It's just incredible. And then back here. Incredible. All right, let's get back to the town, see if something might have opened up as far as restaurants go. Well, unfortunately today, a lot of the places were closed because it is a holiday, like I said earlier. We did get to see the town a little bit. There was a local bakery I really wanted to stop at, but again, it's closed. It's a holiday, that's what happens. That's part of exploring sometimes. You don't know things, and sometimes you end up coming to places on a holiday, and these are things I should know now living in Bavaria. But I do want to end it here because my train is about to come, and I had a great time. This is a really fun time. Let me know if you enjoyed this. If you did, subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Check out my other channel as well, because we're going to be talking about the folklore from the castle. It's called Aerial Folklore. The link is in the description. And yeah, let's end it. And I'm going to go home, going to get showered up and get cleaned up. So until next time, adventure awaits.